Chris with Poolometry here. If you've been following along, we've shot cross corner and cross side using the aim with speed system, and now we are going to turn the orientation of the table to shoot the long way. Today we are shooting long cross corner. Let's go straight into the numbers. First up, we have 3 through 1.2 plus 0.2 goes to 4 through 1.4. 5 through 1.6, that's also plus 0.2. 6 plus 0.2 is 1.8. 7 plus 1 plus 0.2 is 2. And then actually plus 0.2 would be 2.2 for diamond 8, but I got to show those from a different angle. I'm going to shoot these in the opposite order because the balls will be in the way. We end up with 11 through 3.5. The gap backwards is 5 to 10 through diamond 3. The gap backwards is 4 down to 9 through 2.6. And then backwards another 4, which, as we said in the previous clip, is 8 through 2.2. You can see I'm way off line here, and I have to adjust. Let's get on that line. 8 through 2.2. Now I'll demonstrate the speed window. For diamond 6, normally aims at 1.8 medium speed. I can cheat up table by 0.2 to diamond 2 for my fast speed adjustment. And I can cheat slow speed in the other direction. 1.8 minus 0.2 goes to 1.6. This plus or minus 2 for fast and slow speed generally works all over the table except for the extremes. As usual, I've organized all this information into a shot chart as you see here, but I want to be clear that I actually don't have some weird photographic memory that I just memorized each spot. On the right now, you see the back of my flashcard from my quick reference guide for this shot. What I'm really memorizing is the first aiming spot, so 2 through diamond 1, and then I'm memorizing all the progressions in red, so plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, all the way through diamond 8, and then 4, 4, 5 around the end, 9, 10, and 11. And I'm also memorizing the general pattern of plus or minus 2 for my speed adjustment. Once you have the pattern committed to memory, you can quickly recreate the track lines in live play without having to memorize each individual point of aim on its own. I'm going to offer 2 scenarios and how I would use this system to address them. First, we have the result of a very common safety where an opponent would leave the object ball close to the rail and then the cue ball all the way down the other end of the table. You have a big distance between the cue ball and the object ball, but also the object ball is very close to the rail. For this shot, I'm going to analyze where the fast speed line of aim is. Now, I look from 7 through 2.2 and 6 through 2, and I notice I'm sort of between them. So I'm going to try to aim around 2.1, sort of splitting the difference. And it doesn't go dead through the pocket, but you get the general idea. In this second scenario, we kind of have the opposite idea. The balls are close together, but they're both really far from the end rail. Now, before I explain how I think you should shoot this shot, we need to get into the finer details of what's going on here. I'm going to aim at the center diamond on the end rail, but I'm going to add half a tip of English. And what you're going to see is that the trajectory of the ball, when it passes sort of the middle of the table where the rail would be if I was shooting the short way, that difference is going to be much worse when I get to the end of the table because the trajectory is going to continue to throw it offline. When it passes the halfway point, it's only going to be off by about 0.1 diamonds, but by the time it gets to the end rail, it's going to be off by half a diamond. File away that this shot actually pocketed. We're going to use that later. Somewhat comparable to unintentional English is mishitting your line of aim. What I'm going to do again is pretend I'm trying to aim at the center diamond. But instead, let's say I cut the ball a little bit. Now, I'm going to cut the ball a lot, but you're going to see that at the point where it would have hit the first rail shooting the short way, it would not be nearly as bad as by the time it gets to the end rail. It is way offline. It's going to pass through the center of the table a little less than half a diamond offline, but by the time it gets to the end of the table, it's a diamond and a half off of the intended line of aim. A third thing to consider is the object ball is so far from the rail that it is almost guaranteed to pick up topspin, certainly on slow speed or medium speed, but even on a gentle sort of fast speed, unless you really crush the ball. What that means is there's a wide variation in speeds that are going to produce the same rail action. So your attention to detail on your speed is not as important here, whereas the attention to your line of aim and your English is much, much more important. Now let me remind you, the core concept of the aim with speed system is that to make a bank shot, you need to match a specific speed with a specific line of aim in order for them to come together to be a good shot. Now, on a shot like this, both those things are kind of out the window because speed doesn't matter as much for how hard you hit it. And hitting that exact line of aim is much harder. So let's push both of those aside and do something different. We're going to go to that first thing I showed you where English has a very big effect on a shot like this. So we're going to shift our focus from trying to hit a ball at a certain speed to trying to hit a ball with specific English. Instead of running away from the reality that English messes up your shot and trying to hit this perfectly center ball hit, we're going to go right at it and actually try to use English as the primary adjustment for aiming this shot. So now I've set up a random ball position, and I'm not going to use numbers to analyze this. I'm going to use feel and the eye test. And my eye test says I'm going to run a little short of the corner pocket. So I need to add a tiny bit of outside English. That's going to throw it offline in the direction that I need and add a tiny bit of English to make the rebound angle a little wider. On the second shot, I'm going to line up too far so that I need to add inside English to throw the ball back towards the line of aim, as well as create a trajectory from hold up English that's going to be straighter towards the pocket. This next shot is actually aimed dead perpendicular to the rail, and just a tiny bit of outside English can send it into the corner pocket without having to think about cutting the ball. And I could also set up the same exact shot and put outside English in the other direction, granted a lot more, but I still don't need to cut the ball even on that dramatic of a shot to go long cross corner. To wrap up, long cross corner really sends us in two different trajectories. First, if we're shooting from the side rail all the way through diamond 8, I really recommend you get used to the medium speed numbers that are +2 per diamond and with the 0.2 in either direction. It's just really easy to memorize, and it helps people get grounded for a shot people are normally not very comfortable with. However, if you're shooting from the end rail, especially if there's a long distance for the object ball to the rail, I'm going to recommend you throw out the aim with speed system. Yes, I said it. Don't aim at any specific numbers. I think you should be aiming at a full ball hit and simply adjusting with English. Now, it is a little unusual, but it does follow the general rule that when you decrease the number of factors involved in a bank shot, you increase the chances of making the shot itself. And I think with only a little bit of practice, you will be quite pleased at how accurate you can become.